Tonight, 1,000 jobs are on the line. Norfolk Southern appears to be one step closer to moving its headquarters to Atlanta.
The experts tell us the economic impact will hit us hard, not only in Norfolk, but across Hampton Roads. Tonight, we asked lawmakers if they're working to keep the city's only Fortune 500 company. Reporter Allie Weatherton has the latest developments.
Senator Tim Kaine says if Norfolk Southern officials have already made their mind up about leaving, he hopes they reconsider. Kaine says this has been home for the company for years and would be sad to see them go.
We love them, and we made a great home for this company and always done our best to be partners, so why leave?
According to Norfolk Mayor Kenny Alexander, a decision will be made soon on whether Norfolk Southern will stay or go. ODU economics professor Robert McNabb says if Norfolk loses the Fortune 500 company,
would undoubtedly be a blow to Hampton Roads.
The Atlanta Journal-Constitution recently wrote that Norfolk Southern is scouting Atlanta for a new headquarters. This afternoon, I called Norfolk Southern to ask if the decision was reached. A spokesperson wouldn't confirm. However, last week, the company released a statement reading in part, quote, Norfolk Southern is in the process of developing its next long-range plan. That effort is considering many courses of action, including the possibility of consolidating headquarters into a single location. McNabb says if the company leaves, so do the people, which would be a huge loss to the Hampton Roads economy. Senator Kaine says he still hopes that doesn't happen.
If they think hard about their values, I think they'll stay, and I hope that they will.
According to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the Atlanta City Council is being asked to support a potential 10-figure incentive package for the complicated project, and that vote is yet to happen. Allie Weatherton, 13 News Now.
Norfolk Southern owns nearly 20,000 miles of track. Those tracks are laid across 22 states and the District of Columbia. About half of the railroad's business comes from hauling freight to and from ports on the East Coast. Norfolk Southern also hauls a sizable amount of coal and owns the Northern Hemisphere's largest coal loading pier in Lambert's Point.
From Congress to the campaign trail, sexual assault has been a topic of discussion every day on the national level. Tonight, the issue was front and center at Regent University. They held an event called Hour to Empower. Robert Boyd was there and joins us now in the studio with the story.
Well, Regina, the nonprofit organization Fear to Freedom travels to colleges and universities across Hampton Roads, teaching students about the impacts of sexual assault. It's a topic that is more prevalent now than ever. Dozens of students gathered in the Regent University Library Wednesday to listen and learn about a topic that isn't just in the national news, but in their daily lives.
Unfortunately, sexual assaults do go on college campuses. We wish that they didn't, but because they do, we want to make sure that we're empowering students with information, awareness, how to stay safe.
According to the nonprofit organization Fear to Freedom, 90% of all sexual assaults on college and university campuses are not reported.
I think that's a terrifying statistic, and that's something that as college students we should really work to prevent in any way that we can.
Junior Renee Hogan said it's crucial for her friends to look out for one another. No victim should ever feel like they're helpless or alone.
Because we're not blind to these things. We know that they do even happen on a Christian campus, and we want to be aware and prepared to be able to respond properly.
As part of the event, students put together aftercare kits that will be given to sex assault victims after they go to the hospital.
When we have survivors come in, they come in all sorts of different moods, angry, upset, shock.
Nurse Leanne Crawford says being treated for a sexual attack is one of the most difficult things anyone will ever go through. Yet a simple kit with supplies, clothes, a teddy bear, and a note of support can make all the difference.
I have seen it where the patients and survivors grab onto those bags and they hug them. It means something to them. They pull out the bear, they pull out some of the information that is very specific to them.
Fear to Freedom would not comment on how national politics has affected how we look at sexual assault on the local level. But they did say when it comes to victims, they all need to be treated with respect.
That there shouldn't be victim blaming, that you should believe them and let the investigation take the course that it's going to take.
Now, Fear to Freedom has distributed over 20,000 aftercare kits to hospitals and shelters nationwide. Live in the studio, Robert Boyd, 13 News Now.
According to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, as many as 25% of women and 15% of men are victims of rape. during their time in college, and nearly 2/3 of college students have experienced sexual harassment.
Tonight, danger on the job for law enforcement officers in Florence, South Carolina. A gunman shot 7 officers. One of them died. ABC's Elizabeth Hur reports the suspect held children hostage while he fired on the officers.
Police and first responders rushing to what authorities called an active shooter incident in Florence, South Carolina.
Investigators with the Florence County Sheriff's Office attempted to serve a search warrant. Suspect inside the residence opened fire on the investigators.
We have an officer down at this time.
County deputies and city officers shot in a neighborhood west of downtown, with officials asking residents to stay away and nearby West Florence High School put on lockdown.
Suspect is now in custody.
The wounded officers taken to the hospital, and crime scene investigators remaining on scene Wednesday evening collecting evidence for answers. Residents in the meantime are in disbelief.
It's really terrifying to just sit here and just wait.
Neighbors say they heard gunshots from inside their homes.
We talked to my wife and she heard the shots.
And tonight, all say their thoughts are with the victims.
Pray for these officers and their speedy recovery. Pray for the family who lost the bravest police officer that I have ever known.
Elizabeth Hur, ABC News, New York.
A 16-year-old boy is dead after a triple shooting in Portsmouth. Family members tell us his name was DeMonta Faircloth. He was shot on Jefferson Street. We first brought you this as breaking news last night. 2 other men were also shot, but they survived. Police have no suspect information. DeMonta's cousin and legal guardian says the family is very upset.
He wanted to go to VCU. You know, he had dreams of going to college. He told his mom just the other day, like, I want to go to college, Mom, you know? It's just too late. It's too late.
The family says they need help with DeMonta's funeral expenses. We have information on their GoFundMe account on our website.
Harris Teeter employee was shot on the job in Virginia Beach. Police say the shooting happened during a robbery attempt at the store on Farrell Parkway. That was around 12:40 this morning. Tonight, police are looking for this person of interest. He may have seen the 3 suspects. Police say the suspects were wearing dark clothing and masks. At least one of them had a gun. We reached out to the Harris Teeter. The company told us, quote, "We regret this incident occurred inside our store, and we are extremely grateful that our valued associates' injuries did not appear to be life-threatening." We learned a little more about a man who was shot and killed on the job at an auction house in Hampton. Police say Courtney Dwayne Thomas died yesterday afternoon at the Phoebus Auction Gallery. We know that another employee was handling a gun when it fired, hitting Thomas. There's no word on whether the gun was an auction item. No charges have been filed at this time.
Tonight, we're following developments in 2 serious crashes in North Texas. 1 child was killed and 3 others were injured after their school bus crashed and caught fire. 42 students were on board. You see the charred bus on its side in a ditch. Police say the bus caught fire after a power line hit it. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. In Southern California, 9 children were hurt when a van crashed into a tree. The children are between 9 and 12 years old. Orange County fire officials say 5 of the kids suffered traumatic injuries. The van appeared to be towing a trailer carrying surfboards. No word yet on what caused the crash.
Dealing with even a minor car accident can be stressful. Hampton police are trying to alleviate that with a new collision reporting center. It opened today. Now here's the idea. Instead of police responding to minor crash scenes, drivers will swap insurance information, then report damage to the center. It is a one-stop shop.
Put yourself in their shoes. You're out on the side of the road with a minor accident, you're standing out in the middle of the rain, and you're out there for an hour plus. Now you're out there for 10 or 15 minutes, you're not in the rain, and you can come into the comfort of an office, have everything taken care of.
Police will still respond to crashes where people are hurt or where alcohol is involved. The first one in Hampton is along Commerce Drive. It's open every day except Sunday.